Hello, welcome back to another anime art video. My name is Dennis and I'm a beginner artist, and in today's video I'm going to be drawing one of Zoro's swordman friends, one of his bounty hunter friends. I think it's interesting how far they've come, if you think about it. Like, I know they're not the strongest individuals out there. By no means. Zoro was able to beat the guys that they had trouble with ease. The guy for 5 million berries that was sitting in the pub, like, Zoro took him out one slash. Didn't even have to get up. Stuff like that, like, you know, and those guys, they definitely would have ended up fighting for their life if they would have tried fighting. But I think nowadays, when we saw them nowadays, I think that they're actually better than they were when we originally saw them. It's just a hunch that I have, but I hope we see them again in One Piece, because it's been a while since we've seen these characters. We've even seen Crocodile again before we saw this guy, and Crocodile showed up later. But let's get into this.
These mortals have awakened the gods of old. We rise from our slumber to reveal our true power. Focus fire. Now to strike. To strike. have awakened the gods of old. We rise from our slumber to reveal our true power. Focus fire. Now to strike. To strike.
Okay, that's it for this video. That's it for the swordsman bounty hunter. I think it's funny. They see a dude, and I don't know. Look, it's, the swords that I think it's interesting how they showed us, like, you know, Zoro was a bounty hunter, but in standings, like, essentially he literally learned how to control his swords not breaking as easily in the episode. So, like, we would have thought that the entire time he was at the school, right? He was at the school, and then he learned swordsmanship, and then when he got older, because he left his school when he got a little bit older, so I'm pretty sure that's when he, like, left out for his adventure to go find Hawkeye. But you would think, like, we would assume that he had control of his swords then. But we see him, and apparently he's stronger than the majority of the swords that he has. So, like, the amount of power that he puts into every swing is enough to break a sword. And then he ends up thinking, I need to adapt to the sword that I'm using. So his white sword, which I forget the name right now, but his white sword is currently his strongest sword. Not in like current, like up to date, but like current in this episode. His white sword was his strongest sword, and all the other swords, they weren't the same make. Like, they were lower grade make, so he can put a little bit more power in using the white sword than he could with his regular swords. And I think it is a cool thing. So basically, long story short, what I'm trying to say is, what if Zoro currently is still holding back his strength? Because if you think about it this way. A sword, like in this episode, it was shown that a sword can be broken based on how much strength you put behind it. And he had to adapt the way he was using the two swords in his hands so they wouldn't, get diminished or break, right? So think about modern day Zoro. The amount of strength that he has because of the type of strength training that he does. What if he's stronger than the swords that he has? Like, we know, like, I'm pretty sure the black blade that he has would at least be, it might be able to handle his strength. But the white sword that he's had for a while, that even in this episode, he had to get it, cleaned up because it was, getting damaged by the way he was using it. I don't know if it's just speculation, but I think that the sword, if he has like a really strong sword, he can use his full strength with that sword. So I think that white sword was just the beginning of his journey. Like that sword is the one that he grabbed from Kuina. I think that's her name, the woman that died. He grabbed the girl that died. So he grabbed that sword and he's like, okay, I'm gonna use this and make a name for it, right? But realistically, I don't know if that sword is, high grade, because they got black swords in the world and they got cursed swords, and we know Zoro would like cursed swords. So I think eventually he's going to get rid of that white sword. I think the white sword was just like the beginning of his journey. It already has a name. Like, he was known for that white sword that he had. In this episode, they literally said, you can't be the pirate hunter or whatever because you have that sword and the pirate hunter has 3. And then when he came back with the white sword, the guys were like, oh, look at that white sword. So the white sword's known. So maybe nowadays he can get rid of it and then get a black sword, another black sword or a cursed sword, depending on which one he would prefer to use. I don't know. I just think that the stronger the sword, the more power he'd be able to put behind the swings of it. Because he has to adjust his strength in order to not make the swords break. But that's just my opinion. So that's it for this video. If you liked it, be sure to leave a like, subscribe. If you didn't, let me know what I can do in the comment section to make it better for you to watch next time. The glove is off. Peace, love, thanks for watching.